Okay, so welcome to another in a series of interviews I'm conducting on behalf of Milliken, looking at people's experiences during lockdown and crucially the process of the return to work. I'm delighted to be joined today by Channon, Head of Wellbeing at Assael Architecture, and also author of Happy by Design, A Guide to Architecture and Mental Wellbeing. So I think that's a particularly pertinent topic to explore. Ben, I'd like to first ask you about the fact that we all feel quite safe at home and we have that sense of control, but inevitably there will be a return to work in some way, shape or form. So how can employers help recreate that sense of feeling safe at work for their employees?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, Helen. And you're right that this idea of safety is going to be paramount in the next few weeks as certain industries start to return to work. I think it's really important to remember that everybody's different. So some people are going to be actually chomping at the bit to get back to work and really keen to start see their colleagues again and might be quite excited for that social interaction. But for a lot of people, it's probably quite a scary time as well. The idea of leaving the house, potentially having to get public transport, it's all quite scary. So I think, yeah, firstly, it's about really understanding everybody's different and making sure we do kind of empathize with people, whatever their situation might be. But I see one of the positives of this situation actually is that the importance of mental and physical health has really been accelerated to the top of the agenda, which is great for us as architects. That's something at Assael that we've been trying to really prioritize over the last few years and make sure everything we do is really focused on creating healthier places that are good for both physical and mental well-being. But I suppose the crisis has got us thinking about design and how we can further embed those messages in what we do.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, part of me hopes that designers and employers don't become completely absorbed in this idea of like COVID protection, protecting everybody from any risk, which obviously it's important that we do protect people from the risk of COVID, but
Of course.
that's only a tiny part of well-being. Being COVID free doesn't automatically mean that everything else is fine and you're a healthy person. It's only a tiny part of health. So I think it's really important we think of health holistically, and continue to sort of create workplaces that are vibrant and engaging and pleasant for everybody to use, really.
Yeah. And do you think I'm seeing a lot of talk about what the future office will look like. Do you think it's a little bit soon to be talking about that, or do you think it's good that we're having the discussion, or where do you sort of sit on that? I mean, I've seen everything from cardboard cubes to screens to all this sort of thing. I think it's good to have the dialogue, but maybe I don't know. What's your take on where we're at with that?
Yeah, well, it's obviously a rapidly changing situation. And so anyone who made predictions even a month ago about where we've been now, it's shown to be a bit of a mug's game, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Making too many predictions. So um, I think we're probably going to see lots of amazing ideas over the next couple of months. And it's a big challenge for designers at the end of the day. What we need to do is create solutions which are going to empower people to return to work. But also create that sense of community and interaction that people have been missing while working at home, but also while keeping them safely distanced, and that is a big challenge. So hopefully we as I say, we will see some amazing solutions to that coming from all corners of the globe over the next few months, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've seen the phrase "never waste a good crisis" bandied around quite a few times. I apologise to whoever's quote it was because I can't remember, but I think that's it's a way of kind of juxtaposing what we're in with the opportunities that are out there. And I like the idea of diversity in terms of perhaps going into neurodiversity or just approaching what different people want from the office is going to have to be a bit more wholeheartedly embraced. What's your take?
Yeah, absolutely agree. And one thing that this whole situation has shown us is just how different everybody is,
Mhm.
how different everybody's needs are. And some people, I'm sure, have been actually really enjoying lockdown and finding that they quite like the working from home. Other
Yeah.
people probably hating it. And I
Mhm.
think most employers have probably started to realize that people actually like to work in their own ways, and of course we knew that before, but this has really driven that point home. So it's as you say, I don't necessarily like the idea that anyone's benefiting from this crisis, because obviously it's
Yeah.
been an awful thing that's happened. But at the same time, out of difficult situations, we do often find, amazing ideas developing, and I'm sure this will be no different.
Yeah.
Been actually going back and watching some old box sets that we missed the first time round. So we've been watching Vikings, which is really good. Would
Yeah.
highly recommend if you've
Mhm.
not seen it. Obviously, Killing Eve. You've got to be keeping up to date with Killing Eve.
Yeah.
And I actually discovered a new guilty pleasure,
Mhm.
The Great British Sewing Bee. I don't know if you've seen
Oh,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. That sounds,
yeah.
yeah. Who's that? Is that Joe Lycett
It is Joe Lycett. Yeah, and I'm probably not the target audience for that show.
Right,
I'm
but
well aware, but anything with Joe Lycett, I'll watch it. So
and listen, it's
yeah,
got technical ability. You've got to have a bit of creativity. You've got to have a bit of
absolutely.
concentration. I can see why that appeals.
Oh, I know.
Perhaps.
And it's like Bake Off. You get into it so fast, sort of after a couple of episodes, you're like, no, she's got that seam all wrong. Why is she colour matching those fabrics like that? So yeah, you do
Yeah.
get into it pretty fast.
Yeah, I can imagine. Cool. Thank you, Ben, for taking the time out of your day to chat with me on behalf of Milliken as part of their series of Design Insights interviews on the new workplace. To listen to the rest of the interviews, visit millikenfloors.com.